Let's talk about 3 ways you can increase engagement for your live streaming event. Hello and welcome, my name is Nick Palkowski, and this is The Production Room, a weekly video series that releases every single Sunday at 10 a.m. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. But one of the best things you can do in order to increase engagement for a live streaming event, and for most of this we are talking about a lot of times a bigger event, something that is a conference, but it could also factor into a weekly video series. But for this, one of the kind of key foundational elements that you need to do is make sure that you tell people what to expect and make sure that you set their expectations so they can fully participate and know what to do and know how to interact. And the sooner you can do that, the more you can do that, the better and easier it's going to be for them to jump in and really engage with that event that you're having. By teaching them how to actually interact with your live stream, you're going to increase the chances that that happens, and really it is that engagement piece that makes live streaming so powerful and so connecting. So you want to set things up in a way that really makes it as smooth as possible for your audience. So let's jump into tip number 1, which is to actually create some sort of welcome video. With YouTube nowadays, you can actually include trailers built right into your live stream. If you're running a bigger event and have a landing page, you can embed a video right there. Or if you're a weekly show and that's driving people to, say, an email newsletter, you can include that in your email newsletter. Include a video that talks about how they can actually interact with your weekly live stream so that they feel more comfortable when they join you on that live video. Now, I recently did this with 2 different events here, 2 different conferences that I just had this last couple of weeks, and it worked out really well. There's an opportunity to basically lay out the day, lay out the agenda for the day, tell people what to expect, tell them how to best participate. Both of these had virtual networking sessions that would take place in Zoom, so making sure that they had a camera and a mic ready to go and are ready and willing to jump over to that space when it was time. It also involves telling them how to interact. So one, it was purely like chat-based, where another was full. They were able to fully participate in a hybrid scene with the people in the room. So they just had to raise their hand, and we had to make sure we got the speaker's attention, and then we were able to project them onto the projector so that they could talk to the entire room and have discussions just like a normal participant who is in person would. So that basically setting those expectations the best you can in your welcome video is going to help ease people in, help them feel more comfortable and be ready to fully participate when they jump on your live stream. Number 2 is to remind them first thing on their stream how to participate, how to be involved, what to expect, how they can engage right away. So this could happen in a few different ways, in a few different formats. But for example, for a conference, start your virtual session 5-10 minutes before the actual in-person session is supposed to start. That gives you some time for your MC, your host, because I do highly suggest that you always have some sort of MC or host for your virtual stream if you're doing a hybrid type of conference. But have it set, ready to go, where they can jump in, give some overview of what to expect, how to interact, and that MC could be you, that person could be you going through some of these instructions just with the camera turned on you while you're behind the scenes or something like that. That's the way I did it here in a past event just a little bit ago, but it was walking them through, okay, be sure to chat this way. We're going to make sure we get your questions answered. We're going to have, some interview time with the speakers afterwards. Let me know your takeaways, things like that, but set it up so that they know how they can participate, how they can engage. If you have a lot of people, maybe you have certain ways you want them to ask questions with, maybe 2 question marks at the start, or a question written out in all caps, however it might be for you, but set their expectations, get them in right away, but do that first thing in the morning or first thing when you start off your stream. Now, that might not be the very, very first thing. You might have some sort of hook, again, especially if this is a weekly live streaming event. You're going to probably have your hook, but pretty early on, transition into something, okay, here's how you can interact. Here's how you can be involved. I want to hear from you. Leave your questions so that we can get your questions answered, or let me know your big takeaways. And teach them what to do first thing so that they're prepared, and do that for every single day. So if you have multiple conference day events, maybe you're not going through everything that second and third and fourth day, but that first day you're laying it out, and then you're reminding them each and every single day. Another great thing, especially if you're on a different platform or on a separate website, something that they might not necessarily be familiar with, bring that up on screen. So at events will NDI in an iPad with the actual screen that people are using, with the actual platform up and running, so that we can go through, the MC can go through and kind of show people where to click, which tabs to go to, where they can leave their chat, where they can leave any extra questions they might have. But we're walking them through the website, especially on that first morning, and then possibly even briefly, especially if there's any, if it's say a couple days between or something like that. Maybe you have your event takes place over 3 Thursdays or something like that. Then each Thursday I would recommend jumping in and giving them an overview so that they know what to expect and they know how to interact. All right, let's jump into the third tip, and that is to actually go ahead and use graphics and things like that to help increase that engagement piece. So while the presenter is up on stage, for example, if you're doing a hybrid event, maybe throw across the screen a question that they ask. If they ask a question, throw it across the screen, or throw something around as leave your biggest takeaway so far in chat. Something to get people talking like that. I'll always remind them to throw their questions in there. I'll often put a graphic, just a lower third or something pretty simple like that, just across the screen to asking them to leave questions in chat. That usually gets a couple right away every single time, or ask them to leave takeaways. Another great way you can kind of combine this is to say at the very beginning of your stream, maybe you even have some sort of countdown timer or just some hold kind of screen up, throw a graphic up there asking them a very simple question of the day. It could be as simple as, where are you watching from? Or what's your favorite ice cream? Or maybe it's more related to the actual content you're talking about, but have a question there so as soon as they hit that live stream, even if nothing else is happening, they can start typing their answer and get that engagement piece going. So find ways to really utilize your graphics the best you can to help increase that engagement and get people talking. That's really the key thing, get people talking. Depending on the platform you're using, you might even be able to throw comments up right on screen, or you can get a little creative and create something. If the chat doesn't automatically get brought in, you can use an NDI and crop out that and create an overlay of, say, the chat from a different computer or something like that. We've done several different creative ways depending on the type of environment, but find ways to get people's comments on screen if you can. That will help increase engagement as well. And this is just a little bit of bonus tip. We've talked kind of about it throughout, but have sections and have times where you're asking your audience questions and you are engaging them. You need to respond and interact with their live stream, with their comments, with their questions. Now, in an in-person event, in a hybrid type situation, that gets to be a little trickier because you can't necessarily stop the presenter on stage and interact. So maybe then afterwards, build some extra time in where just you as the host or even as the production person can interact with some of the comments that people are leaving before you transition into a break or something like that. Find ways to build those in. If you are the one creating the content, sitting there talking to people like we are right now, pause during your deliver content in sections and then pause after each little section so that you can interact and engage with the chat. I don't want you necessarily being interrupted by all kinds of chat coming on screen at any time. If you're in the middle of giving a point, don't just stop and respond to chat. But after you wrap up that point, after you wrap up before, say, I moved on from tip number 1 to tip number 2, I would pause in the center there, engage with chat, see if they have any questions. I would also be sure to ask questions of the audience and tell them to leave comments in chat. Leave comments, leave questions. That's a great way to get people engaging, get people started, get that ball rolling, and really start responding and create that engagement for your live streams. So I will see you in the next episode of The Production Room every single Sunday at 10 a.m. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single one, and I'll see you in the next video.